Wow, more bad news. Tyson Fury is facing an 8-year ban after the farmer drops the bombshell and says he lied on official statements and documents into Tyson Fury's past drug probe. Wow. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I got to do my shameless plug. Shout out to ESPN Plus. Sign up below. Link in the description of all my videos. You can sign up for ESPN Plus as a standalone app. I have it. It's great for docuseries, documentaries, 30 for 30s, UFC pay-per-view, top ranked boxing, etc. You can also bundle it by clicking on that link and get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three of those apps for one price of $12.99 a month. And it does help the channel in an amazing way when you guys click on that link and sign up. Now, new media. As I keep telling you guys, we control the narrative. Smash the like button. I dropped a bombshell. Daily Mail dropped a bombshell yesterday. I was the first person on this digital space to really talk about it. Shout out to Daily Mail for the insight. So I'm not going to keep going over it. If you're not caught up to speed, then oh well. Bottom line is, I'll give you the quick cliff notes. There was a UK farmer, a 70-year-old man from Great Britain. He says he was brought in and asked to perform a favor, as he is a farmer. And that favor was when Tyson Fury in 2015 failed a drug test, right, for nandrolone. He was the person who supplied Tyson Fury the wild, uncastrated boar to justify why Tyson Fury failed a drug test, and had him and his cousin, Huey Fury, had nandrolone in their system. Because I guess a cyclist in the past had used the nandrolone because I ate wild boar meat, as their defense, which is weird because, people are like an uncastrated wild boar, because people eat pig like bacon and stuff. But how many people do you know that really just feast on wild, uncastrated male boar? You know what I'm saying? And this is just like an everyday thing where they're just consuming. And so it's just kind of a weird claim. But Ukad is financially, with the guy's testimony, they didn't want to go and push it to the furthest limit because they didn't want to deplete their budget because Tyson Fury was threatening to sue him and stuff because he had a good alibi. But now his alibi has holes shot all through it because the farmer is saying, I lied, I committed perjury, the world needs to know the truth, and that's what it is. So now you type in the simple 2 words, Tyson Fury, you see scandal. This is what comes up, top stories. Tyson Fury could face a fresh Ukad, which is like, the VADA, the drug testing facility in the UK, a fresh investigation over farmer's meat claim. Tyson Fury facing an 8-year ban from boxing if he is found guilty by, the commission. So basically, because the farmer's testimony, they have relaunched, or they're planning to relaunch and look into this matter. Because again, Tyson Fury, he beat the case because he had a strong enough alibi, they believed, because the guy had statements and stuff, and they had a strong enough alibi where they felt like, we're not going to press the matter. But now his alibi, the only excuse that him and his cousin gave for having nandrolone in their system, being supplied wild boar, the alleged plug has now, done a Benedict Arnold and turncoat and recanted what he said and said, you know what, that alibi, it don't really check out. I was lying. And he said, I got in so deep, and, it got to the point where they were supposed to pay me $25,000. I was going to get $25,000 for this, and they never paid me because Tyson Fury, as soon as it didn't go to the full hearing or trial or whatever, they got through it. And then they, the people that they were going to use as the the credible source and the supplier of the wild boar meat, because you had to trace it back. They're like, what do you mean wild boar meat? So they contacted, this is what the farmer's saying, Carefoot is saying he was the farmer that was contacted and he has testimony. Now, let's talk about this. Frank Warren, and I've already talked about this again, but I'm going to keep saying this. Frank Warren, the co-promoter of Fury, his UK operation, Queensberry Promotions, has said all of this is rubbish, is BS. But the funny thing is, this happened in 2015 and 2016. And if you look it up, Tyson Fury wasn't even signed to Frank Warren. So how would Frank Warren specifically know what happened in Tyson Fury's career prior to when he came there? How would he know that? He's saying it's rubbish and, there's no way this is true, that it's an old senile man that wants money. But how do you know what transpired and took place? And why are you speaking, but Tyson Fury ain't said anything? Not looking good, people. And on top of that, this is Tyson Fury's recent post. A picture of Batman and some dude dressed like Robin. And he's in the space, the Lancaster, around the same area where the farmer is from, where the farmer is, making these claims. So I don't know what's up with this cryptic message. He says, we was doing a half marathon today, but got canceled for obvious reasons. But we are going to do a half marathon at home. Batman and Robin, crying emoji. And then he's tagging all these people. Don't fear, we coming. So really cryptic message, really a cryptic message. And, Top Rank is laughing. He limited the comments where you can't leave comments. You see, comments have been limited. So unless you're Top Rank or Frank Warren account that he follows or something, you can't. This is only for close friends. So he's limited his comments ever since Glovegate, including now. And that's his only response to this whole allegation, a Batman suit picture. So Frank Warren, again, he's trying to clear Fury's name, but he wasn't even a part of Fury's career until 2018, April 12th, 2018. And this happened in 2015-16. So it's not looking good. And then now we'll go back to the Daily Mail because they're the ones that have the original story. So we'll use their link. It says Tyson Fury is facing an actual 8-year ban for evidence tampering if they look into this and find out that Carefoot is telling the truth or he can somehow prove it. And I don't know what it's going to take to prove that. Tyson Fury facing an 8-year ban from boxing if he is found guilty by doping officials of tampering with evidence after shock claims from a farmer who says he was offered £25,000 to lie in Ukad's statements about supplying contaminated boar meat. So he was basically a fall guy, and he said he was supposed to get paid. Now, here's the other thing that's interesting. Aside from Frank Warren just simply, speaking on behalf of a timepiece, he was not involved with Fury's career at that time, is you have Fury and his cousin, Tyson Fury and his cousin Huey, that both failed. So 2 different heights, 2 different sizes, 2 different BMI, 2 different weights, and they all had unacceptable levels of nandrolone in their system. Different like digestive systems and everything, and different blood types, possibly these types of things. And they both had it in their system. Now your plug, your supplier has, flipped on you. Tekashi, I told you he's 70 years old. Tekashi 7-0. So he did Tekashi and snitched on you because you didn't pay him. Horrible. And someone left me this comment earlier. It's like the movie War Dogs, which is a great film. Miles Teller and Jonah Hill. The bottom line is they had a good operation. They were making their arms dealers, making all this money and, shipping weaponry and stuff like that and running guns. And it's based on a true story. The bottom line, their supplier, right? Their supplier, the guy that they were in cahoots with, Jonah Hill's character tried to undercut the guy and sell him short and then, cut him out the equation. So that dude ended up snitching on the whole operation, and the whole operation came down because he told the feds, hey, this was happening. So he's like, basically, you double cross me, I'll double cross you. Great flick. And then that's what it looks like a situation here. So that's based on a true story too. So this is not above the realm of possibilities. War Dogs, it's the same scenario. Somebody all Jonah Hill had to do was to pay. I think the movie Miles Teller got all pissed because all he had to do was play his position, pay this dude. He was already, getting an affordable rate, but he tried to cut him out. And then now your whole operation comes down because the dude snitches on you. Another example would be Freeway Ricky Ross. Freeway Ricky Ross's old plug ended up being the one that started cooperating, and he actually set Rick Ross, not the rapper, but the real Rick Ross, the one that was moving bricks. His old plug was the one wearing a wire and stuff. And that I watched the documentary too. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there, but he's the one that he was facing all these charges and stuff. So he started working with the boys. He started working with 12, started working with the feds. And then he's the one that ended up getting Ricky Ross indicted. Ricky Ross knew something was up, and then it was too late. He had already made like the exchange of money and drugs and stuff. And then that sent him back to prison because his former plug started working with them, and that was a little bit different. That was just to save his own, tail, to get less years or get out or whatever, because you work with the boys, then sometimes you can get, you can get pardoned and reduced time or no time for being an informant. So that's what it sounds like with this Carefoot farmer situation. Now he's facing an 8-year ban. It says Ukad is going to investigate Tyson Fury and his cousin again after explosive allegations that a member of their team offered a farmer £25,000 to lie about how they each failed a drugs test in 2015. While the national doping watchdog is remaining tight-lipped, Sports Mail understands that they are set to act on the extraordinary new information brought to light by the Mail on Sunday. If the Furies are found guilty of a potential new charge of tampering with the initial investigation, which led to a backdated 2 years ban for the Furies in 2017 for their nandrolone positives, then they would each be facing a possible 8-year suspension for a second offense. Now, there's a lot of old media that try to compete with me, and it's impossible. So what they're trying to do is say, oh, he already served his suspension. He's already done his ban. No, dummy. He did his ban under the pretense that his story checked out, so they didn't want to pursue it any further. So had this farmer not lied and, was writing statements and, backing up their story, then we may not have ever seen the fight with Wilder later on, because this could have tainted that whole operation. All this lineal stuff that they've used on ESPN to promote Fury, all that would be now, subject to criticism. So if you think about it, all the people running around and they're saying this foolishness about, oh, he already served a ban. No, he didn't. He was suspended and he couldn't get his license, and they let him off with a slap on the wrist, and didn't proceed to the extent of what it could have been, because his alibi was at least checking out, and it wasn't worth maybe the state or the sanctioning body or hearing or whatever, prosecutors, DA, whatever you call them, for a situation like this, didn't feel they had a strong enough case to go forth with beating him, because you got some old white dude who's 60 years old at the time, saying, hey, I gave him wild boar meat. So it became plausible. But now with him changing his story and recanting, you have no alibi. What don't people understand about this? So I use the same example. If I was involved in a shooting, or I was suspected that I was involved in a shooting where one person was killed, I shot up a house party, right? And the police always thought it was me. But then I had an alibi of a friend, and the friend said I was with him all day. I was at Disneyland with him, and he never left my eyesight. So there's no way he could have committed this murder in LA, because we were in Anaheim and I was with them all day, you know? And then they looked into it as much as they could. And then the guy had 2 Disneyland tickets. But then later, me and the friend have a falling out, and the friend doesn't care, you know, or I was supposed to give the friend money to vouch for me, and I don't do my part. And now the friend is scorned, or we had a falling out. And now the friend is like, hey, FYI, I lied. He wasn't with me. So then that means my whole alibi is now shot, because I have no actual alibi that doesn't place me at the scene of the crime, or that puts me away from the scene of the crime where I couldn't have committed that shooting. That's the problem. Tyson Fury got off on a light, you know, slap on the wrist, because they didn't feel they had enough of a compelling case with this dude Martin Carefoot's statements, to the point where they were going, because it was plausible at the very least that it was wild boar, and Fury's legal team and stuff were threatening to sue him. So they got enough information where they just said, all right, we're going to drop it. That's what happened. So all the people talking about he already served a suspension. Yeah, but now from what Martin Carefoot is saying, he served a suspension under false pretenses, right? Just like a guy helping to get me cleared and exonerated and you know, beating a case, and then later coming out and said, you know what, I feel bad about it, but I lied on documents, I recant. He was never with me on that day. Now you got to at least look into it and investigate to see, like, yo, what the hell happened? Because I beat a murder case, right? I beat a murder case based on this person's testimony. That was the compelling part that the jury bought. So now, if his testimony is under question, or his scapegoat, his alibi is now under question, then that means this is technically unresolved. So it's a new issue. Plus, there's new charges. They're saying tampering with evidence. You bribe somebody and pay someone off. So now they got to start fresh. And I hope Ukad does what they're supposed to do, you know, because it's going to be a bad look. You can't worry about going bankrupt and all this stuff. It's a bad look. We're supposed to have a clean sport. We got all types of stuff in the world, the coronavirus and all this stuff. You know, at least you could do is clean up this sport. It comes after a startling claim that the farmer Carefoot, who said he lied when he submitted 2 written statements to Fury's legal team in 2017, which said he had supplied the fighters, Huey and Tyson Fury, with uncastrated wild boar. The defense blamed the presence of nandrolone metabolites on the ingestion of offal of an uncastrated wild boar or pig, or alternatively from contaminated supplements. So their whole defense rested on kind of this statement and this alibi, this story that they were going along with, that the farmer is no longer going along with. Carefoot has heaped huge uncertainty over the fighters by retracting the contents of his statements, copies of which have been sent to the Sports Mail. So he has copies of his statements that he wrote. He said in the article, and I'm not going to catch you up on everything, read or look at my old videos if you don't like reading. He said he got a knock at the door from a friend he trusts, and the friend said, I got some guys, they need your help, and we need you. And at the time, he was like, yeah, whatever. This dude has done things for me, helped me. And he didn't think it was going to be this big deal. But the way it was being pursued and prosecuted, it turned out to be a burden and inconvenience on his life. You know, because they're calling him all the time, asking for statements and having to meet up. They wanted him to come to court, stuff like that. He's like, man, I didn't really sign up for all this. And then he got involved in something that became deeper than he probably realized. That's what he's claiming. And he says they sent copies to the Sports Mail. So to the Daily Mail, they got it. They said they are marked before the National Anti-Doping Panel between Ukad doping versus Tyson Luke Fury and Huey Lewis Fury. And those possible use, Fury's defense will be particularly relevant to any Ukad inquiry. So this website publication that's UK based, they said they got a copy of this. They got a copy of his statement. So it looks like the dude, according to the interview, like covered his tracks, you know? He covered his tracks. So this is just a bad look, because this is the old dude too. And it's funny. I love it. I love it. He looked like a nice old man, but I love it because so often when it comes to Fury in this whole situation, they say you blacks, the black channels, all this stuff is like everybody's just out to get Fury and don't want to see him shine. This don't have nothing to do with blacks. The only thing black here is this cow, this heifer. This is a UK, so it's not an American, which is great. Because they think that, oh, if you black, you siding with Wilder, or you American, you siding with Wilder. This ain't got nothing to do with Americans, and it ain't got nothing to do with the black channels. This is some Bob Arum looking motherfucker who is claiming this. It's not a good look, y'all. Not a good look at all. So we're going to see. He's facing an 8-year ban from this. And the other thing that your plug just turned you in, bro. That's crazy. Your plug just turned you in. This is the guy who was supposedly supplying you. And he's like, surprise, you didn't pay me? I told you to pay me my money. You didn't want to. So he did like War Dogs. And he said, all right, I got you. And then he went public with it, which is sometimes what we see. Like, let's say, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, because all this stuff, you shouldn't lie and commit perjury and stuff like that. I get that. But we see situations like, let's say there's an NBA basketball player who's married and messes around with the side chick, and she says, I need some money from you. I need some money, or I'm going public that I'm pregnant with your baby. And then if you try to call that chick's bluff, and then she starts showing pictures of you in a hotel room in a bed, and she's showing ultrasounds, now it look crazy. So you can say it's extortion or blackmail or whatever, but he agreed to go according to him. And the thing with Carefoot, the farmer's not really making himself out to be a saint. He admits that what he did was dishonest and whatnot. So Frank Warren, he's like, oh, you guys in WBC, they're going to bat for Fury. And they're saying, oh, we stand by him. You're going to believe a liar. But he's already admitted he's lied, So what's to say he's lying about this? He's already not made himself, he made himself vulnerable, if you will. He's already made himself vulnerable by admitting that he lied to begin with, because there could be penalties and fines that he has to pay just from coming out with this story and lying on legal documents. So I think he's full aware that, there could be ramifications or so for me, a 70-year-old random white man that is a farmer that really has no connection to the world of boxing or this and that, why is he just out to get Fury? And my thing is this, how come Fury has so many demons and Nick Asbury sparring, saying the glove is removed, glove gate? Why does he just keep having these issues? Failing another drug test with cocaine, refusal to take drug tests. These are all lots of circumstantial evidence. Some of it is visible evidence we can see, all of which is not a good look for Tyson Fury. These are claims, and now they're saying Ukad is going to look into it. So good luck. We're going to see. Someone says, how anybody could take this man seriously is beyond belief. Tyson has never met this man in his life. What a load of rubbish. We'll leave this with Ukad to look into. Don't expect it to go any further. And see, the thing about this is Ukad, they already have questionable things. So you might be able to pay Ukad off, because the Dillian White's Ukad situation looked mighty suspect, and they were involved in that. So either way, this is bad news. So good luck to Tyson Fury becoming an American star. It looks like while the football season has been paused, there's nothing to write about, and a silly season has instead commenced. So once again, how come people could say stuff is silly? He's delusional, he's senile, but you're not really, all you're doing is saying what he's saying is rubbish, but you're not explain this, Frank Warren or WBC Mauricio Suleiman. Why are there legal documents and statements, according to this article and the articles about this, that have Martin Carefoot's name that were submitted for Tyson Fury and Huey Fury's defense by Morgan Sport Law, his legal firm, his law firm that was representing him, his lawyers, right? Why? He's clearly involved. He's implicated in this thing, because if he had nothing to do with this case, then you would say he never even had nothing. We don't have no statements for him. We never used his statements. So you can't exclude the fact that you and Tyson Fury, well, not Frank Warren, because he wasn't even a part of Fury's career at this time, as I mentioned. But you can't exclude the fact, you just keep saying it's silly and it's rubbish, but you have statements that were used in this case from this guy to clear Fury's name. So how did he even get involved if he's lying? Why is he lying? Why is he lying now? You see what I'm saying? So his story, like I said, is just like the movie War Dogs. The guy that snitched on Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, he was a villain too. But then he got slighted by Jonah Hill's character. He was doing the dirt too. And that's the one that called the feds on him. So that seems absolutely plausible. Once again, Frank Warren keeps saying it's so silly and this is crazy and, you know, incredulous. There's no way. It's rubbish, it's foolish and chick bollocks. But you haven't explained. Why is he even involved in this case if nobody knocked on his door as he's saying? Why is Martin Carefoot, why he and Daily Mail has, according to their writer, says we have obtained copies of this. So the guy still has copies of the statement that you can match with Ukad. So tell me why his name is, you know, listed as, you know, kind of a witness testimony. Why is he involved with the letter of recommendation if he has nothing to do with this? So we know he's involved with this. It's just a matter of, is he telling the truth? But listen to his story. We haven't seen nothing. All we've seen from Fury was this. That's his explanation. Don't fear, we coming. A cryptic message, like what you gonna do? You know, go pay the old man off now, or, you know, and say he lied. You know, this whole thing looks bad. It looks shifty. It looks shifty because now I don't believe nothing. You know, because at this point, UCAD could get paid off and say, oh, we couldn't find anything. At this point, now since he made it a public issue, they can do some backdoor stuff. And for him, you know, I don't trust none of this. That's just what it is. I don't trust none of this now, because he came public, and Tyson Fury is the WBC and the Ring Magazine champion, and you got sanctioning bodies and Top Rank and Frank Warren and WBC people who are backing. Well, I haven't really heard much from Aaron, but you know he's probably backing it too. So now there's a lot of money. If Tyson Fury were to get found, he's facing an 8-year ban. So now they might come up and shut this man up and give him some money, you know, pay him a visit and say, oh, bro, oh, you know, here's some money. Just shut up and say you were lying. So it's the fact that he came out with this, it's looking crazy. And I wish there was a international investigation, because really, real talk, I don't trust the UK investigations, because it's just always some weird shit. Like Dillian White, Diana Ball had a secret meeting no one knew about. Then he got banned, but it was unclear. You know, he got dropped from rankings. And then Dillian White still got scheduled for a fight outside of the UK in Saudi Arabia. And then the day before he's about to fight on Joshua Ruiz too, UCAD said, oh, he's been cleared. And they didn't explain. Oscar Rivas' team didn't even know he failed a drug test. They had to read it with me and the rest of the world. So I really wish there was like a federal, you know, international body that would investigate this, so we can make sure everything's on the up and up. Because right now I don't trust the UK. I don't trust the UK one bit when it comes to these people. And I can't say the UK in terms of like the regular police work, but in terms of the sport of boxing, I can't trust UCAD because there's already been questionable things. For example, see, y'all, I'm telling y'all don't want to do this, man. Eric Molina failed a drug test with Anthony Joshua. Look, Anthony Joshua knocked this man out. And look, UCAD, so a Mexican American went over to the UK and got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. He was already banned, and UCAD threw the book at him. You see what I'm saying? So I don't already trust this shit. They had him banned for It says drummer boy has been unable to compete in the UK since losing to Joshua in 2016. And then it says Molina shockingly states Ukad wants him banned for another 2 more years. So he already got a 4-year ban or some shit because a non-UK British fighter came and tested positive, and he said it was for arthritis, or he had his own reason of why he tested positive for what he tested positive. Right? Look. So this is why I don't trust this UCAD shit. Smash the like button. He says, UCAD banned me for this. It's an anti-inflammatory. This is not an anabolic steroid. This was openly submitted to them. It says 25,000 was requested for an appeal. They released to the media that I was a PED cheat. Look. So he said he told them about this, and they still came after him. Right? So this is how they do. But meanwhile, Dillian White, he didn't face no 4 to 6 year ban. Right? Ryan Martin. See, I know my boxing. Ryan Martin failed a test against Josh Taylor. Look, this is how they do Americans. Reuters. Boxing. American Ryan Martin gets a 4-year ban for anti-doping violation with UCAD. So listen, I don't care if you punish everybody evenly. That's cool. But we going to unlock and uncover this whole thing, bro. How does a black American guy and a Mexican American guy, they get 4 to 6 year bans, but then Dillian White fails a drug test and he's fighting and gets cleared, and the whole Diana Ball situation looked very suspect. So, this is just a bad look for Tyson Fury. I think they need they need a charter and get more people involved in this, more hands on deck, more pressure on UCAD. Because people got to do what's right and really not just take this lightly, but really look into it. We're talking about life and death. Wilder has 8 kids, bro. The guys, I don't know about Christian Hammer, his family and stuff, but he's really fighting people. Klitschko, all these people. And if he's on something and then bro, that just shows you underhanded shit. If you on something and you reaching out to a farmer to help cover you, then that means you was doing some guilty shit. Because if you really ingested something, you wouldn't really need no farmer to get your back and lie, which he's now coming out and saying that he did and that he lied. They also said, which I said is funny, they said one of the side effects of nandrolone is balding. Tyson Fury cut his hair shortly after, the Steve Cunningham fight. He had a full head of hair for that fight and the Joey Abel fight. And then right after that, he had one more fight and he cut his hair. And then his hair has been cut, and he has pattern baldness clearly. And that's one of the side effects. So circumstantial, but yes, you got to look at everything. And that looks very suspicious, just like what the farmer's saying and everything. And now he's facing an 8-year ban. So Glovegate, they want to suppress the message. They want new media to be irrelevant and hoping people don't pay attention. But you got no choice but to pay attention. All we want is equality and a fair sport. And this got to be looked into. So it looks like they're relaunching the investigation with this whole stuff. UCAD says if anyone has any information to please come forward. Look, this is crazy. And once again, the WBC and Frank Warren, look, this is what UCAD said in a statement. UCAD said, quote, "We will always review any potential evidence in relation to any anti-doping offense and take investigatory action where necessary. If anyone has information that could be of interest to UCAD and its investigations on any matter, we urge them to contact us." So the UK, they're at least publicly trying to make it look like they're really seriously looking into it. But I hope they do look into it, because we got to get the truth and the answer. Tell me why this 70-year-old farmer who testified on your behalf, basically, and wrote statements is now claiming this. I understand shakedowns and people want money, but why? Why would he do that? Why he just want money now? And look at Tyson. Like I said, you got to look at the characters involved. Tyson Fury's background. He failed outside of this. He failed drug tests before. He failed the cocaine one, and he admits that. And they said it was because stress from the Ukad, because he knew his career was in jeopardy. But guess what? History repeats itself. His career's in jeopardy again, because this is not a good look for anybody. He's facing an 8-year ban. He's already 30, 31. 8-year ban. He gonna be 40. You gonna sit on the shelf? I mean, that's the max. I don't know. I don't know what the next step is. Maybe he gets off scot-free. But all I know is the good thing is that these matters are public. People are knowing about them. People are talking about it. So good luck trying to cheat again from here on out, because you on a tightrope. Glove gate and all that. I bet you his gloves don't flop. If he beats his case, I bet you his gloves don't look all sloppy and floppy with the laces ain't tied and shit. So, we're going to see what it is and what it ain't. But this is some heavy stuff and serious stuff and really serious allegations. And for me, why are people just targeting Fury? Nick Asbury is sparring partner. This random white farmer that's 70 years old. Like, why is it just everybody hates Fury and they just coming for him? He said he never even owned wild boars, but his statement said he did. So he was clearly lying about that, and he's admitting to lying on that behalf. But then, because he didn't get what he wanted out the deal and has a guilty conscience, now he's coming forth. I can see that. That's plausible. So as far as Frank Warren and WBC, they can vouch for Fury all they want. But guess what? It's heating up. It's heating up because they haven't debunked anything. How can people say I stand by this in a day and you haven't debunked anything? We haven't even heard a Fury statement. Why don't they take lie detector tests? There's a lot of ways to look into this. And I know a polygraph is not 100% conclusive, but hey, it's a start. Put that Martin Carefoot, Tyson Fury, his team, and Huey Fury on lie detector test, right? Tyson Fury failed a drug test, not once, but at least twice. Facts. Huey Fury failed a drug test and has acne all over his body. These are facts. Tyson Fury is a gypsy, and he has a gypsy buddy in Billy Joe Saunders, who recently failed a drug test, doing something underhanded not too long ago against an American, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. He's facing a potential 8-year ban, and new media, we got to stay on top of it, keep looking into it. It just doesn't look good. And Tyson Fury can't be mad at me, can't be mad at anybody. This is what you created. This is the world you created, all the erratic statements, all the, weird rants you went on and behaviors and, dressing up like Batman and all this stuff. Don't be surprised now. Don't be surprised now that people question, with the seedy background, and people are questioning your movement when all this stuff is coming out against you. I don't have no issues like this. You don't have a million women coming up saying I punched them in the eye or, stole money out their wallet, ex-girlfriends, and that's not happening to me. So why is it happening just exclusively to you? We don't see Jojo Diaz Jr. and he got all these claims and charges against him. But, when people show you who they are, you got to believe them. I told you the other day with Adrian Broner, I'm an equal opportunity employer. Broner, you got to just let Broner be Broner. I don't even have no advice for him. I wake up, he got a DUI, get arrested at a weigh-in. It's just, that's Broner. That's just how people take it. But when it comes to Fury, people want to vouch for it. So we're going to see. New media, we working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.